from Central Virginia. As you know, the last couple days I've been dealing with carrots. I just pulled 2 more, not bad looking carrots. So at any rate, it is an overcast morning and it's a little bit cool right now. It's going to get much hotter and warmer. But I have a couple of empty pots here in my back kitchen garden, and I thought, well, I might as well plant some more carrots in them. Carrots do really well in containers because we have really heavy clay soil here. So it's a little tough for them to grow in the soil. I have done it though with a lot of compost and mulch. But at any rate, I had these extra pots. One's just a big 5-gallon, pickle container, and the other one is a 10-gallon fabric pot. So I just thought I'd take a few minutes and go ahead and sow some carrots. The carrots that I'm going to be sowing today are Danvers 126 and Scarlet Nantes. Those are the one thing about growing carrots and sowing them is the seeds are really tiny. And on some varieties, the germination can be a little bit tricky. You can see how itty bitty and tiny those seeds are. So that's going to be a little something. So I'll show you what I'm going to do to freshen up these pots. These are pots. I had potatoes growing in one of them in the early spring and harvested them earlier. This pot's just been sitting there, which is kind of a waste of space. The other pot actually had carrots in before. And so I'm just going to put some carrots back in. To freshen up the pot, I'm going to add some organic granular fertilizer. This is just a 3-4-3 that I get here locally at my organic feed mill. I've got some potting mix, and I've got some of my compost that I'll be adding in. You'll notice that I also have some cardboard, and this has been already wetted down. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that to get these things to germinate in the heat. Here's the pot. There's the 10-gallon fabric pot, and just the 5-gallon pot. As long as you've got holes in a container, you can grow in a container. All right, this is the little pot. I have been growing carrots in here, and they've been doing just fine. I just gotta let them sit here, and they've been all right. In the shade here, they take a little bit more time, but it keeps them cool, and they're not hot weather things. They don't like to germinate in the heat. All right, I'm just loosening up this soil. I have drilled holes in the bottom of this container. As long as you've got holes in the bottom of your container, you can grow in a container. I'm going to add in some potting mix. Oh, it's heavy. I'm also going to add a scoop of compost or 2. All right, I'm putting in just a 3-4-3 organic granular fertilizer to freshen up this pot. You do need to put in fertilizer into pots. I don't fertilize generally much my in-ground beds, but for pots, it's a necessary thing because you're constantly pouring, water's going through, it's washing out a lot of nutrient. Now, carrots like to be cool and moist when they're germinating. And so that is a very, very important thing. I have now put this in. I've sort of firmed it up a little. I'm just going to make small, about 2 inches apart, little indentations, not real deep. And these are going to be the planting spaces. My first experiments with carrots were not very successful, I have to say. It wasn't really until I started growing them like this in the pots that I had more success. You can see the tiny little seeds. I'm going to put a couple of seeds. Well, it's always more than a couple because they're so teeny tiny. I'll put a couple of seeds in. These are the Scarlet Nantes. And then if they germinate, once they're about 1 inch high, I will thin them down to 1. If you don't, you get some funky looking carrots. Cover these over a little bit. They don't need to be deep. Loosely cover them over. This is relatively moist right now, which is great. I am going to give it a little water in. They want to be kept moist. Now here's what I'm going to do. This I do in the spring and I do it in the fall. I'm going to take this cardboard and I'm just going to put it on top like this. That is going to keep the moisture and hopefully some of the cool in here. And what I will do, I'm going to water it in. That will slowly seep through. All right, so why bother with the cardboard? Even in the springtime when I plant, the carrots have to be kept moist in order to germinate properly. And I have gotten great results using something to cover up my planting space with carrots, whether it's in my in-ground beds or in containers. If you do that, it's worked for me. What you absolutely have to do is after about, I don't know, I started about day 7, I check them every single day. I lift the cardboard. When you first see a little green sprout, take the cardboard off. They're germinating. And just keep them moist, and they should germinate pretty well. You saw all the carrots that I've harvested, and that isn't even all of them this year. I've been harvesting them all summer, and so they will grow. Also, I have found that for me, at least, the growing of carrots is a little bit of a study in patience. For me, they take a long time to grow. Now, in part because I put them in a relatively shaded spot where it keeps a little bit cooler so they don't get the same kind of sunlight, especially when they're growing in containers like this. So, thank you so much for watching today. I hope your garden's growing really well. Take care. Bye.